Good afternoon, everybody. This is Robin with Stamp with Dr. Robin. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in beautiful, sunny San Diego, California. I've been a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, I think about 8 years now, and they never cease to amaze me with the amazing stuff they bring out. So today we are going to make a card with a bundle that I haven't seen a lot of people use. It's called Frozen Edges, and we're going to make a Christmas card. This is one of the 4 cards we made this weekend in my October class that I had at home yesterday. So those of you who were there, thank you. And this is a bit of a repeat, but the rest of you, it'll be new. And then later on today, I will type everything up and put it on my blog, stampwithdrrobin.blogspot.com, and you can see it there and all the measurements and everything else. And you can watch this on Facebook forever, or you can watch it on YouTube. For those who haven't found it yet, I have a YouTube channel, Stamp with Dr. Robin, and if you go there and like it and subscribe, I would really appreciate that. So where's my list of what's new? I think there's the only new thing is from now, and I'm not sure how long it lasts because I didn't write it down. There's a Close to My Heart special going on. So all of the labeled Close to My Heart stamp sets, ink pads, etc. are 30% off. So clearance time for Close to My Heart stuff. Sign up bonus is still going on. And just for those who are local, I do have a class that's going to be happening at Oasis in Rancho Bernardo, but not until December 12th. I don't know why, but they screwed up a whole bunch of stuff for me. And so don't have me in a class until December, but oops, sorry. Anyway, Kits Collection still on sale up to 30% off. And if you are local, save the date for my holiday card buffet on November 16th. That'll be going on most of the day. Hi, Roz. Good to see you. And for those of you who aren't local, I will be selling the PDF for all the cards, so stay tuned for that. And for all you demonstrators, hopefully you're ordering some pre-order stuff, and honestly I haven't had a chance to play with mine yet, so I'm looking forward to seeing everybody else's. So I'm gonna put you down here so you can see what we're working with. Is this really cool bundle called Frozen Edges, and I think I'm gonna move this over just a little bit. I actually bought this because I loved these 2 really huge dies, and it wasn't really too expensive of a bundle. But I also really love this one really huge stamp. And if you notice, this is not a Christmas stamp at all. It's more just a winter stamp. It says, "Let yourself rest, wishing you a cozy day, snuggle up," and oh, I can't even read upside down, "hope for snow." So you could use this for a lot of other things. I just chose for today to make a Christmas card. I will show you another card that I made using it. Oops, it's getting a little smush, so this tells me you're gonna have to watch it when you send it, just because I wanted to show you this die, this big die here. It doesn't cut out a whole lot of stuff. It actually, most of this is just kind of partially cut out. And I just thought that was kind of cool because, oh, here you can see that big stamp. Because then you can see everything through it. So that's not the one we're making today, though. The one we're making today is this one. So the Frozen Edges, this die is going to be used at the top of these cards here. So, and then we're also using the Regal Distress Patterns paper. I think we've used this before. I know I've showed it before. You get in that set of DSP, you just get 2 of each of these 3 patterns, and they're all fabulous in their own way. So that's the Regal Distressed Patterns. And people in my class got a packet of that and some embellishments when they did the class. All right, so I'm going to move this out of the way. Oh, I want to show you, since we're going to do that, one of the first things. Can you see the background? Hoping that you can. It's embossed using the So Swirly embossing folder. And can you see that little bit of gold on there? So I'll show you how we got that. All right, so let's move this out of the way. Keep this. All right, so first thing is I have a 5.5 inch piece of gold. And when I made this for my class, I actually used a wider piece of the gold because you'll notice something really fun here is that this piece, when it cuts it out, you end up being able to use both sides. I'm not going to, try to worry about that today. And like I said, if you're going to make basically 2 of this, whoops, let's get it a little bit straighter maybe, then you would want to have that gold piece a little wider. And I'll tell you how wide I did it when I do my write-up, because I know I wrote it down somewhere. All right, so we're going to do that, and then the other thing I'm going to do while I have this out right now is we're going to emboss that 4 by 5.25 piece of basic white in our So Swirly. Now the So Swirly is not a 3D embossing folder. And so you actually end up using just not this white plate that we normally use to cut with, but you actually use the 2 clear plates on top of the base. So I've actually, I don't know if you could see that, I've labeled mine so I know what they are. Whoops. Can you see that? And if they are 3D, I decided to put that in the label too, just so that I would know, what kind of plates I'm going to use. So again, when it's not 3D, you just use the base and the 2 clear ones. What is that that's in here that's kind of dirty and icky? Luckily, it's just on there. Okay, so I'm going to move this, but we're going to bring it back in a little bit, so don't go too far, Mr. Cut and Emboss. Okay, so we got our So Swirly. All right, so this is what I wanted to show you here. So when you cut it like this, you can actually use both sides of this here for what we're doing. Obviously today we just need 1, but you get 2 out of 1. Now there is this little crease here that I don't like, so I'm going to turn it over. I'm going to try to use my bone folder to get a little bit of that crease out of here. And it won't totally go, but it'll be enough, and you probably won't even be able to see it the way we cut that. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take a piece of 3 inch by 5.5. This was 5.5 also. Piece of that Regal Distressed Patterns. And we're going to put some, I'll try to get some of these longer ones to have a little bit of glue, but not too much, because then we're going to cut this out and we don't want it to smush out everywhere. So what I'm going to do is just put this right up on the edge. It could be on it or a little bit below it, either one works. And then I'm actually going to let this dry a little bit while we work on something else. Again, we're going to cut this out, and I didn't want it to totally smush. And now I got, see how, what I was talking about, glue smushing out? Got some smushing out. But since I'm using my glass mat, I can just wipe it off. All right, so this is my So Swirly that I was talking about. And you can see it's embossed rather nicely. And then we're gonna take this Metallic Effects Basic. Basic is just the name of this group of this Metallic Effects. This one comes with silver, copper, and the gold. We're just gonna use the gold one today. And then there's also one that comes, I believe it's black, white, and red. And I want to show you one thing you can do with this. We're not using these today, but if you take your silicone mat and make little dots on here, now you have embellishments. So all three of those colors are now embellishments for you. This is the copper one, and I made some small and big gold ones. It takes a little practice, you know, to make sure they look more round than not, but it's kind of fun. All right, so I'm going to just take a little bit of this gold Metallic Effects. I'm going to smush it out on here. I'm going to take one of my sponge daubers, and obviously this is going to stay as this one. You don't need a ton on here, and you're just going to gently kind of apply it wherever you want. I mean, some of my ladies used a ton of it yesterday, and other people just used barely any. And it ends up basically applying mostly to the top of the, you know, not the valley so much, but across the top. Now, we did also notice that the sponge dauber, you know, that it gets kind of hard on the sponge dauber, so after a while that stopped working as well. And then a lot of people just ended up doing this and using their finger, because fingers are good for this kind of thing. And like I said, you can use as much or as little of it as you want. I just kind of, you know, randomly moved it around. And now we're just going to let it dry a little bit while we work on other things. And I think I'm going to try to get some of that up too before I put my card in it. So we got a couple things drying now. And what we can do is, where'd I put it? There we go. Do some embossing for our, gosh, if I can find, where did I put everything? All right, well, we are using one of the Peaceful Seasons, this one, dies, and one of the sentiments. And what I tend to do is cut out a whole bunch of these and stick them in my case, and then I have a whole bunch here ready to go. So there we have it. Alright, so we are, I forgot to plug in my heat gun, so give me a second here, because we're going to emboss our little sentiment. If I can ever get my heat gun to plug in. There we go. Okay. I am gonna also, actually, I don't always use a pad when I'm using photopolymers, because for the most part this glass mat does a pretty good job with this, but I've noticed with these little sentiments they tend to be a little pickier about that. So we've got some gold embossing powder ready at the ready here, and this says joy and love to you. So let's use our embossing buddy. Hi Debbie, welcome. Always a little magic here with the embossing. So have you guys started your holiday cards? I have an old painter, aqua painter kind of thing, that I just keep forgetting random little things like that off. And then you're gonna hear some noise because I just turned on my heat gun. And I like to let it warm up for a little while. And then somewhere I have some tweezers, but I don't see them real fast. So let's try to do this and not completely burn ourselves. We got joy and love to you. Okay, that was easy. All right, now I think we have, let's get this out of the way. All right, so we need to cut out our ornaments from here. And what we're gonna do is use the second and third largest stylish shapes, circles. We're gonna put them up to the top like this. And voila, we are gonna cut out some ornaments. So let's bring back our cut and emboss machine. And you could, whoops, other way. You could do this on the mini one also. I just happened to have gotten this out today, so that's what it is. And obviously if you make that piece of gold, you know, fatter, you can have them kind of go down fatter, or longer icicles, I guess, on here. All right, so, ta-da! Isn't that cool how that makes ornaments? I just think it's so cool. All right, so let's get stuff together. I think the only thing that we haven't done is our little inside. I like to do my insides, stamp my insides before I do put my fronts on, if I remember, because that way if you screw up, you can turn it inside out and no one knows. So I don't know if all of you have noticed this, but this wild wheat, our in color wild wheat, is kind of a gold dupe. And what I mean by that is it kind of looks gold once it's dried, so you don't really have to emboss everything. I'll show you what I mean. So to me, when it first goes on, it looks a little greenish. I'm just stamping it off again. But once it's dry, let's put another one up here. And it's stamped off. So we got lots of, and then you could, you know, put it on all over your envelope too, if you wanted to. And who wouldn't want to, right? So we got lots of little gold-ish or wild wheat-ish snowflakes everywhere. Okay, so that's our inside. Now, we don't want to glue this down yet because we need to get the ornaments kind of set up. One thing I forgot to do, so we're just going to cut them out of here, is cut a couple little topper things. That's not going to work. Let me find some more gold. What do I do with it? I had all this gold foil sitting out here. Put it back. Nope. this is it. So I just need a little scrap of gold foil, and we're going to just cut some little that are going to be our little ornament toppers. Well, I believe when I cut these, they were about 3/8 inch. Not so precise this time, and we're just going to attach those onto here and use them for ornament toppers. So I'm going to put just a little bit of glue. Those are not the same size, Robin. Let's see if we can get one closer to the same size. That's a little better. All right, so we got a little bit of glue on those. And we are just going to make some little ornament toppers. And then we are going to need something to hang our ornaments with. So what I used was the gold, it's called Gold and Silver 1/8 inch trim combo pack. So we got a gold one and a silver one, and I just used some of this gold trim, and we'll glue it onto there. And then we'll glue it onto the back. All right. Yay, you've got them. You're getting cards made, Roz. You're making progress. Roz had some surgery and couldn't even work on cards, God forbid. All right, so we got a little bit of this on here. Hoping this will stay stuck together. This is what I used. You could also use, you know, tear and tape on this. Whoops, it looks like there are different sides to this. Okay, and then I am going to use, I think, the tear and tape to get that to stick on here on the back. So what I am going to do is glue this one down first. Put it on there. That looks about right. I'm hoping you guys can see the gold on the back of here. It's really kind of cool. And then we're going to put some dimensionals on the back of this little one. I'm going to actually, that doesn't look really straight here, so we're going to move this guy over a little bit. And now my finger's stuck to it. Okay. I'm actually going to put one of those dimensionals right on there just to kind of help it stick. All right. Gluey me today. All right. And now, whoops, I guess I need to make that go up a little bit more, or I'm not going to have enough string. So then I'm going to take this, turn it over, and we're going to just basically use some tear and tape to keep it in place. Same thing with this one. Just want to make sure it was straight there, and that'll hold it in place. And then you could, I guess we could take this off and use this to help glue this on to our card base now. I do like using glue for most things, but especially these embossing folders. It gets in those little nooks and crannies really well. which is why you just kind of want to hold this for a minute and make sure we're gluing into all those little nooks and crannies so that it doesn't come up. There we go. And then a couple of those. Now we could use these little gold embellishments that I used, but I just also really love the way this iridescent foil gems looks, because it's a little bit clear but also a little bit of gold in there. If you don't have them, they're really quite pretty. It's it's a little more subtle than something that's solid gold, which I really like on here. So that's a little one and a big one, and we'll try one more, whoops, big one down here. Isn't that cool looking? We'll bring back the other one. I just think this is such a great fun set, and a winter set without being, you know, overwhelmingly Christmassy, so that we can, you know, obviously this card is a Christmas card, but you could use all those lovely snowflakes for other things. We all have lots of people, at least I have lots of people having winter birthdays. Of course, San Diego and snowflakes don't exactly go together, but we embrace all those snow things anyway. And there's our little snowflake that went with it, our snowflake envelope. All right, I'm gonna put you guys back up and wish you a great week ahead, and I will hopefully see you back here next Monday. Take care. Bye.